Hello, everybody. A couple minutes early, but just getting everything lined up here. Hopefully, my laptop will sync up quicker than normal. And as a reminder, I'm not alone.
Dude, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get everything where it belongs. Takes a little bit because my laptop there's like a delay. So,
So what I was gonna say is,
I mean, they can hear you if you talk.
okay, well, I'll hear this.
Is it thundering out?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's why I was gonna warn you ahead of time in
Okay.
case the power goes out.
Hi, Dotting Nana. Yeah, I just got an update on our weather, so hopefully this is going to work out. We'll see. We will see. So if you are new here tonight, hello. We are going to actually work on a pattern practice page. So you're welcome to follow along. I'm going to do my best though after the live, probably tomorrow sometime, upload the, hi Carrie, thank you for the follow, upload the patterns so that if you don't have the black paper and you can't follow along tonight, that you'll at least be able to start your, thank you for the wink wink, the practice page. Thank you. I appreciate you helping me meet my goals. I don't know what happened before we came live. I was messing with stuff and I lost my background. Hello, Cindy. How are you? Welcome, welcome. So I'm not sure how many of you were here last night. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But we decided to actually start a practice page. So if you have the black paper or something to start your design on, that's great. If not, I will upload the highlights the best I can. And hello. Just waiting for a couple more people to tune in because not sure who's going to make it, but we'll wait a couple minutes. So basically what you'll need for tonight is something to make dots with. Whether you have the tools or not. I will use some of the acrylic rods, probably this size and this size for center dots, but for the most part I will just be using the regular dotting tools. Hello, hiya Bonnie, how are you? So yeah, for the most part we'll just be using the regular dotting tools. You're welcome to use whatever you're using. You don't have to have the dotting tools. They help, but you don't have to. Hi, Cece. Is everybody ready? So if you did not, if you were not here last night and you want to participate, grab some preferably heavyweight paper. This is 110-pound paper. Some people, hi Jen, how are you? Some people were using watercolor paper and their weight was 80 and it worked okay. But this is 110-pound paper. Again, my goal will be, if you are not prepared for tonight, no worries. I'm going to upload the highlights the best I can here on this page. That way you guys can kind of maybe go back and do things. So we'll wait and see who else might tune in. If you're new here, say hi. Tell us where you're tuning in from. I decided what I would do is show you a small version and a large version, because that way you can decide, you know, for instance, if you're using a 4-inch, you're going to do a smaller version of the pattern. So that's why I picked these two. I could play drums, but I don't know how to. I still can't figure out what those little things are. They're not necessarily, some of them look like treasure chests and gems and... Okay, well, what time do we got? All right, it's 8:04. We'll go ahead and get started because you guys are here and on time. Okay, I think what I'd like to do is show you, I'm going to do a couple of different sizes in a couple of different colors, just so you can visualize how things are different depending on what color you're using. Let me grab another paper towel. It's a good thing you go to work so we can pay for paper towels.
All the towels.
Oh. Okay. So, how was everybody's day? I don't even know what the temperature was here, but it's hot. It is hot. All right, so I'm going to actually start with that palette we used from last night because it was here. So, and I'm going to start with the smaller acrylic rod. And honestly, maybe I should show you all three sizes. So this is the purple, which is smaller. So I'm just going to do a center dot like I would if I was making the design in a circle. So I'm going to put it up here. Hopefully that will make sense. Okay? Because then we'll do our design pattern around that. So we'll use these three. Let me get these out of the way. And then I'm going to do another dot. Bigger one. Remember, we want enough paint that you're going to get a decent dot. So I'm just kind of eyeballing the center of the box. Now, if you did not do your boxes, 93, yeah, it's almost so hot you don't even want to bother going outside. If you didn't do your boxes, these are like 2x2s. Do you have to do boxes? Not necessarily, but all right. And then this is a bigger, like the bigger rod. I wouldn't necessarily go any bigger than this. And I apologize ahead of time, but they are slightly different distances away from the edge because of their size, okay? Because when you do the walking dots or the swooshes, you know, you kind of go around, so you wouldn't want it right on the edge. The office where I'm at for pediatrics, one of the office staff members told us that the doctor didn't want us to turn on our fluorescent light over our workspace because it kicked out too much heat. So we've been working kind of in the dark. I literally have no idea how much heat comes from a fluorescent tube light, but whatever. Okay, so when you're working with the smaller dot, it may make sense. I know. Listen, you know, he's smart. but he's a doctor. I just thought it was hilarious. Maybe it was a joke, because he does like to joke a lot. And she took it seriously. So I'm just going to put the paint over here. So I'm taking, because this is the smallest dot, I wouldn't want to go too big to make that first ring. So this is literally the tiniest tool. Hang on, it's dirty too. Hang on, let me get everything off of it. Okay, and we're just going to use this contrasting color. Now I know these are going to look familiar to you guys. Okay, so in this first row, you're just walking the dots around that. And I did not get enough paint. Try it again. So 1. And I know we've all talked about my habit of going sideways. Don't do what I do. Okay? Can we see that though? I'm going to go down a little further with the camera on this first one especially. Let's see if we can zoom in a little better. All right, let's try that. All right, same thing around the side. Oh, now I need more paint. So this first row goes right around your dot, okay? And I always have to preface all of this by saying I'm painting like 12 inches away from my face. And we're gonna focus on this one right now. So what I would then do is maybe go up in size to let's work with the small end of the yellow, which is like literally in the next size up. But what I want you guys to recognize is you're not going to go right there. You're going to come up a little bit and go down and around. And if you're doing this on this paper, okay, one thing you got to remember, it's porous, okay? Hi, Lynn. It's porous, so the paper is going to absorb your paint relatively quickly. Don't stress out about it. Remember, the goal is that we're just doing the best we can to get our dots about the same size around, okay? Now the next row, all I'm going to do is flip this tool over to the large end. Okay, just flipping it over, and I'm just going up in the colors. Now this time I'm going to make sure I go up a little higher, and I am going to do that triangle pattern. Okay, once I do the triangle pattern, I'm going to come and make it more of a petal pattern. They're not going to look perfect, right? Because you have no guide marks. You're just putting this pattern in the book. Thank you for the follow. You're putting the pattern in the book so you have it for when you're doing your mandalas. That one's a little wonky. I already see that. Thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate that. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate you. If you are new here, you are tuning in on a live that this community has kind of been working up to. Many of us, well, of course I do, many of them have their tools, and they decided that they wanted to do a practice page of patterns. So we're actually starting with a very common pattern. These are 3 different size dots with the same, we're going to do the same pattern, same colors, so that they have an idea of what they may want to do when they do a design pattern on their own. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. I appreciate the share. Does anybody have any questions? Like I said, if you're just tuning in, some of this may not totally make sense because you're just, oh, that's not it. We're going to go ahead and go with the darker color. Now I'm going to go up in size one more time to the white. And that's going to be the large end of the white. And I just have to make sure I pay attention and look for puzzle pieces. Okay. So sometimes you'll do 4 rows. You don't have to. It just depends on what you're doing in your pattern. Okay. I am doing that triangular dot placement. Okay. And then I'm going to walk the dots around as far as I can go. Oops. Like that. Thank you for liking the live, everybody. Okay. And just like that. Okay. Now, as a reference, okay, let's find a reference. We really don't have one. Actually, the one that I was going to use as a reference, oh, here it is. So, as a reference, the reason I am a little further away from the edge is because normally you're going to start a row of this pattern after you start your center. Thank you for the follow. Okay. Now, every time you do this pattern in a different color, it's going to look different. This pattern is exactly the same thing as this. Okay? Kind of hard to show them both at the same time. Different sizes, but same pattern, different colors. Okay? And that's important to remember. All right. So now let's just say we're going to go up in size, right? We did this dot. And we'll just do a whole totally different. Instead of starting here, I'm going to start here. Same concept though. I'm not going to start with the smallest tool point, but the next size up, which is the small end of the yellow. And it's going to be the same thing. You're going to dot, walking dots, all the way around. And I have a tendency, I got to remember to do that. I have a tendency to hold my tool on its side. There we go. Instead of straight up and down. And I don't know if it's because I'm painting so far away from my face, but I'm doing that. So it's a little lopsided. Thank you for the follow. All right. And then to simplify it, I'm just going to switch to the large end of the yellow. If anybody wants me to stop and repeat anything, please ask. Okay? I know that when I was learning, it was nice because I could rewind. We're doing this live, so I get it. If you don't have the tools, if you don't have the paper, if you don't have the paints, some of this may not make any sense, but I'm going to do my best to upload as much of this as I can. It'll probably be in sections. If not tomorrow, between tomorrow and like the weekend. Okay, so all I did was switch to the large end. And again, I'm going to come up and make a triangle dot formation, which is going to make the tip of our petal. Okay, then I go back in the paint, and now I'm going to walk the paint around. My OGs are really, really quiet. Thank you for the follow, everybody. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here, too. I appreciate that. Hi, Kara. Hello, hello. Cece, Cindy, anybody who's here that are here for this and are here every night, if you need me to pause, Jen, if you need me to pause, please speak up. Okay? You guys are here for it, and I want you to be able to. So the bigger dot only one time around before the triangle. So the bigger dot only one time around before the yes. So you're going to make your original like circle. Sorry, I'm not talking. No worries. No, I just want to make sure you guys that are here all the time get what you need. So Cindy, do you mean like the first row here? Can you see here? The first row here is just a regular row of walking. And then you'll go to the diamond shape. And you're going to find your own way. I've just found that way I make sure I get that petal look. I don't think the AC has gone off once. The first one you did, yes. So you do, yes. I actually did, the first one here has got 4. Maybe I'm not. I'm going to pause here. Hi, Lori. So I'm going to make this bigger. Thank you for the heart me. So what I did, Cindy, that's different is this is a smaller primary dot, a little bigger primary dot, and a bigger primary dot. I wanted to do that so that you guys would have that visual in case you're doing a small round, a 6-inch round, or an extra large round. But maybe I'll make sense of, I'm not sure. Okay, in this case, I'm now taking the large end of the white. Okay, all right. All right, so again, it's going to be, I'm going to come up a little bit and do the triangle. Okay, then I'm going to get another dip of paint and walk around as far as I can, like that. And like I said, I am painting a good foot away from my face. So it's not perfect. I don't expect it to be, and you shouldn't expect yours to be perfect either. Okay? This is practice. So this is so you can see the patterns and look. I mean, this is the only thing that's missing is one more row. Look at how different that pattern is and looks from that pattern, only because slightly different size, okay? Different color coordination, but it's the same exact design. All right, so then we're gonna go up in size now. And let's just do this mint. Okay, same thing. I'm going to come up. Babe, I think you need more NyQuil. Okay, dip again and walk. Oh. Sometimes, like I said, I have a bad habit of going sideways with my tool, especially on the paper, and it's not very helpful. Okay? Same thing. You're going to walk them around. Thank you for the follow. All right, what do we think? Is that making sense? So, smaller, bigger, and then this would be like the biggest. Cool. All right, going well. Okay, awesome. And like I said, I will probably have to upload this in pieces, so I'll probably upload this part because it's several minutes. I might have to speed it up, but I'll upload this and then we'll go, do the other designs as we go. I don't think there's any more Dayquil.
Huh?
I don't think there's Dayquil.
I mean, it's close enough to
I don't know, man. You're going to have a rough week. Yeah, that's what you say. Okay. So I am going to use the small end of the yellow again on this one to go around the center dot there. But I'm going to actually use metallic just to kind of change things up. So, oh, my cord is in my way. Hang on a minute. Let me get my eyes right. Might have to go a little bigger. Oh, that worked. Okay. So in clinical today, I almost got a chance to do sutures. I was like, oh my God, I haven't practiced sutures yet. So I was like, that's really not fair to the patient. But I was so excited. Almost. I came that close to being able to do sutures. All right, I'm going to go up in size to the large end of pretty much, I feel like, each tool. So the large end of the white, the large end of the blue and then the large end of the green. And I will let you know if I change my mind though. Yeah. So let's see, that dot is that. So let's just go here. Oh, you can't see the square. Okay. How's that? Is that better, Lori? Oh, that thing there. Can I move that? No, I can't move it. Okay. Better? Okay, perfect. Well, it's better for me too, so that it's closer to me. All right, so I'm going to go a little bit above. I feel like when you get into larger dots, things get a little more exaggerated because you're covering more space. Gosh, this color palette is pretty. Okay, so that was the large end of the white. Okay, we're going to go to the large end of the blue. Who here has, yeah, it just kind of changes everything, right, Cindy? And that's what I mean about, like, when you get your colors and you do something, any little thing you do changes everything. And the only thing I did here is use metallic instead of regular acrylic. Does anybody have the acrylic tools? Thank you for the share. I appreciate that. The only reason I ask is I know that I'm using them and, oh wait, what am I doing? Okay. The only reason I'm asking is because I use them obviously for the center dot, and I want to make sure that people know you don't necessarily have to have them. They just help you make that center dot in different sizes. Are you gonna go in the room?
Why did you do it?
They can, yeah. They can hear the AC unit.
Yeah, that's loud as fuck.
So are you?
Sorry.
No. But I was just, I mean, you're welcome to hang out here, but, yeah.
Can you hear Woody Harrelson?
They can hear Woody. They sure can. I mean, it's a cool group. They're probably laughing at our conversation right now.
That was 1970 shell necklace. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, all right. Okay, so as long as everybody, if you have any questions about the tools or anything, you can shoot me a message. There should be, well, I'll talk to you too. They said hi, boyfriend.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Bye. More artistic than me, I'd say that.
If you should see an orange box in the bottom left-hand corner with a white arrow. If you need a list of beginner tools, message me there and I can get you that. I think the list is in better shape than it was when I first started sending it out, which I didn't know it wasn't complete until I was sending it to somebody and I'm like, that is not right. All right, so now I have, this is the large end of the green. Same thing. I'm actually going to make a pretty large dot. Same triangle. Okay. And the same walk the dots. All the way around. Hang on a minute. There we go. Okay. I've banished him to the bedroom. I mean, I feel bad, but he's on vacation. He can go in the bedroom and watch TV. Angie, it is. Listen, it took me a long time to finally get that pattern. So for me, what really helps is coming up, doing that bigger dot, and then keeping that triangle. Okay? And then once you have that triangle, just your body, it's muscle memory. Your body will start to figure it out. I promise you, doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen. Okay? You're going to repetition. Okay, so small, and you don't have to do 4 rows. I mean, on this one, I did 2 rows and then a swoosh. Okay, so as you do this, you may come up with your own designs. Thank you for the follow. Listen, Cece, I saw some of your stuff. You're doing really good. I think everybody that does arts and crafts, we have a very critical, like we're critical of ourselves. Nobody gives themselves any grace. So you're all new to this. I thought I lost for a tool. You're going to have to do a live just to finish all the... Yeah. That is very true. You are so true. That is extremely accurate because we did start a lot of these 4-inch rounds, and because we had extra time when we were doing the stones. But like, here's another one. Well, these are lines. That's fair. I'm okay with that. And then here's one. This one's just not sealed, but she's not lying. She's not lying. You absolutely are. And, you know, if I pulled out the mandalas, the big ones I've done, I could point out every single mistake. But to somebody else looking at it, they don't see that. They see the colors and the design and the glitter, and everything is just, they see different things than us. You found it. Oh, good. That happens to me all the time too, Jen. I'm like, where did that tool go? Happens all the time. So how do we feel about that? Because next is, we're going to do some swooshes. Let me look at this grouping here. So I'm trying to, I think we're going to do a center dot, and I'm going to show you a couple of options. Not a center dot, but a focal dot. So we're going to do that. That is another one we do. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing, but let's change colors. because I've got, I don't know how many color palettes right now. 6. So we'll use the Tiger Lily because we all love that Tiger Lily. All right. Try and get you in frame here. We should be good because we're going to be painting down here. Okay. So same thing. I'm going to take and I'm going to make a center dot. And I say center dot, but it's a dot that's going on a guide mark, remember? Okay. It's going to go on a guide mark. It's not really a center dot. So I'm going to do the same thing just so that we can get a better idea of, and remember, you want enough paint. Focal dot maybe is a good word for that. And then we'll do our big dot. Oh, I feel like that needs more paint. Okay. Let me put that about the same spot. Okay. Go USA. I don't have steady hands. I can only imagine what mine. Well, you know, you might. So, as a nurse, okay, what did the USA do? Did the USA win, Lori? I haven't been following what's going on with the USA. Go USA anyways, but. So Cindy, as a nurse, don't focus on doing the small dots then. Oh, the game is on now. Okay. Don't, if you can, if you buy the tools, focus on using the bigger dots. You don't have to do tiny dot. I've showed you guys that. You don't have to do small dots. You can start with bigger dots. You might be surprised though if you get the acrylic rods. So when people have like shake or whatever, you might need a little bit of a bigger tool. But I do know that slipping the pencil grippers, the kids use them. They're triangular shape, but they're foam. Slipping that over here may give you just enough extra comfort that you don't shake as much. I'm not sure. I'm not an occupational therapist or any of that, but don't sell yourself short. You may be able to, you may just have to modify. If anything, hanging out with us, I appreciate that. Thank you for the heart me, Heather. Heather! Oh, how are you, friend? How are you? We're actually doing something very different today. We're doing patterns in a pattern book. So, all right. So I am going to, I'm not using the smallest, but I'm going to use the small end of the yellow. Yeah. We had a couple of votes for some of the people that have been here following me for a while wanted to be able to like practice patterns when we aren't together. So they voted to do that. So we're working on a few tonight. We'll see how far we get. But yes, thank you for the donut. I use the yellow. I use the small, yellow, smaller. Yeah. Yes. So it doesn't matter. You can use whatever size you want, Cece. But yes, if you hold them, the small end of the yellow is definitely smaller. So remember, these sizes are the same. And this is the large end of the yellow. This is the small end of the yellow. So you can kind of see it's way smaller. Okay. And that's fine. You can still do this. You're modifying, and thank you. You became a title gifter for 10 times. You're welcome, Pam. I'm glad you're here. Do you know how to make a dot? I do not. I do not. I do know somebody who probably can, though. There's quite a few dot artists that do stuff like that. I do not, though. Hi, how are you, Redskin Chick? Welcome in. All right, so are we good with that? So then, let's see. We're going to, hang on, I got myself all kind of pinned in here. I don't need that. Why is that there? Okay, so then I'm just going to actually switch to the larger end of the yellow and go up in color. Thank you for joining the fan club and the heart me. Thank you for the wink wink. Uh-oh, the Go USA is right. Who are they playing, Lori? Thank you for the TikTok. I don't even know who they're playing. I mean, I like the fact that we're playing. Oops. I did not do the triangle right on this row, but we're following along. Hang on. I got sidetracked with the whole USA. Bosnia. Okay. So we'll do the next one with the little triangle. I love this color palette that we did. That is just a pretty color palette too. Heather, are you going to be like, I know that your house is under like construction, technically. Are you going to go live at a certain time going forward? I know you're kind of playing around with your times. So I'm just going to actually switch to the large end. Oh, wait. Okay. I was going to do a swoosh. So we're going to do a swoosh. But again, this just shows you how you can do all kinds of different things. So large end of the white dot. Hang on, I got to make sure I have enough. So when you're practicing on paper, you definitely want enough paint on your tool. Okay. So normally, I got to chit-chatting. Normally no, that's not one. Anyways, it looks pretty. Thank you for the follow, Zyla. Just going with it. But that just goes to show you that you can make different patterns. Thank you for sharing the live too. On a whim, because that's what I just did. So as you know, if you've been here for some of the lives, we usually do the center dot and the swooshes directly around it. But in this case, I went and did 2 rows of walking dots, okay, and then a dot in the swoosh. But I'm going to go one more step further, okay, and we're going to do one more thing, okay, because I want you guys to know that you can modify and do whatever you want. So we're going to do a dot, and I'm using the large end of the blue, okay? Okay, so the triangle dots, and then, ooh, walking dots again. I missed something important. Hello, Judy. No, you didn't miss anything important. But I don't know, Judy, were you here last night? Maybe you didn't. I don't remember. So, Judy, tonight I'm gonna upload these in sections. Okay? After tonight, after tomorrow, I will be done with clinical. So I will do what I can to upload these in sections for you guys. You had a migraine. Oh no. Thank you for the wink winks. I thought maybe you left, Heather. Okay. So we decided as a group to do a pattern page. Okay. But like I said, I'm going to do the best I can. You're going to have to give me some grace. They're probably going to be long. I'm going to try and edit them, but I'm going to do this section, then it'll be this section. I know. And then I don't start my next rotation until like mid-August. So I am super excited because I feel like I have a little bit of time to breathe. But we've never done this design live. I just made that up. Is it new? I don't know. I mean, somebody else may do that design, but I'm just letting you know that I just made that up. All right, and then just to kind of throw in a twist, yes, it'll be nice. I mean, I'm not doing anything, but I still have one class that, like I have tests in and stuff like that, but I can focus on just that. All right, so I'm actually using the small end of the blue, and that might be copper penny. So I'm going to do just regular walking dots around that. Oh, whoops. The eyeballs got me on that one. That's what I blame it on. Listen, if you're new here, say hi in the chat. If you have any questions at all, please ask. That's what we're here for. It's a great community. Okay. So now I'm just going to keep in line with this particular design, even though that wasn't what I was originally doing, but we've got all the time in the world. So same concept. I'm going to come up a little bit. Hang on, I got to clean that off a little better. And what I'm showing you is that when you change your color patterns around, everything looks different. You get basically a different pattern every time you adjust your colors. which I think is the coolest. Hi, Deb. Just body doubling. Who are you body doubling? And then you're going to walk the dots around. Like that. Oh, you're painting too. Very cool. Are you dot painting? Oh, shoot. Okay, so I came out a little too far, but we're fine. We're fine. Remember that grace I told you about? We're just going to keep giving ourselves grace. Well, I'm glad you're here. Oh, okay, cool. Are you working on a large mandala? What size are you working on? I'm just kind of showing the beginner group here how to do different design patterns, and this is our first time doing this pattern page. I love, it's my favorite. I stumbled across this art form, I don't know, I guess it was about 3 years ago. A 12-inch snakes. Ooh. That sounds really cool. I'm just a very basic dot artist. Very basic. I mean, I the largest I have done is like a 21-inch, but it had a large mirror in the middle. So, very cool. Well, welcome in. Welcome in. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the large end of the white. And we're going to do our swoosh. So again, you're going to come up. Okay. And swoosh. Push and swoosh. So when you get into a bigger swoosh like this, you may end up wanting to learn brush strokes. Okay? That's a long swoosh. This one's doable. This one's long. Thank you. I'm painting about 12 inches away from myself, so sometimes my eyes play tricks on me. So, but again, this is a long swoosh at this size. But we're only doing the one. So you just keep swooshing around. And if you have to, you can switch to the other side and come around. And then we'll go to, I'm going to just go to the, hang on a minute. I need the large end of the green. Okay. We're just trying to have fun. My swooshes get distracted and go off. And Gen XDD, you know what? I feel you. The swooshes were, when I first started, okay, same thing. We're going to do, I need a little more paint. We're going to do a large dot and the triangle. Okay? Tap, tap, tap. Get more paint off. I hear you. I would follow along and I would be like, why does this not look anything like what I'm supposed to be doing? Practice. I don't know what it is about swooshes, but if sometimes people, like I have gotten better with swooshes, but you could always try using a paintbrush. Some people are able to use the paintbrush much more eloquently. I did have to work really hard at brush strokes, but that's an option. On this one, I think I will show you a brush stroke because it will be really hard to get a swoosh that long. And that just takes, now I will tell you, Gen X, Dee Dee, for me, I have to get everything perfect. Like sometimes I have to do this way, sometimes I have to move my paper this way. You have to keep practicing. I think I'm gonna use the large end of the yellow to make the walking dots on this one. And let's be creative here and start with this color because I made that center dot. Are we in frame? Cool. Okay, so Judy, are you practicing on the paper or are you practicing on the wood? So the paper, if you're not practicing paper, okay, you may need more paint. And you're practicing on the 110 pound? Okay, you may need more paint. Don't be afraid to practice with more paint. Okay? Because if you're not getting all the way around, well, one, it could be you're trying to do too big of a swoosh. Okay? Like I said, this is my limit. That's pretty long to do with a tool. So it could be that. Hang on a minute. It could be that. I'm just going to do our walking dots real quick here. Could be the way you're holding the tool. When you're doing your swooshes, are you pushing or pulling? If you're having a hard time pushing it, those aren't spaced very good. Thank you for the follow. If you're having a hard time pushing, try turning your paper around and pulling. Okay? You're pushing it up. Okay, so let me do the next row and let's talk about, I'm gonna use this box over here. Let's extend that a little bit more. So if you're having a problem, and forgive me, my phone seems to be like dragging my tripod down. If you're having a hard time pushing it, pull it. Let me show you. Okay. So I'm just going to do a dot. Okay. No rhyme or reason for anything. Thank you for the follow, Sheila. Okay. Instead of pushing, this might be, where's the blue? There we go. Let's just use the blue. I'm just trying to find a contrasting color that's going to be good. I realize too, though, that having the overhead gives you guys a glare, and I'm also trying to work with that. Let me see. That's a little better, I feel like. Okay. So if you're having a hard time with the push, switch your position do your center dot, and pull. Oh, I need more paint. Maybe not that much paint, but you get the idea. Pull towards you. So we can fix that. We'll just make this dot bigger. Okay. Try changing your position. And pull. You might be putting a little too much pressure on the tool and the paper. Is it possible to see the top of the dotting tool? Do you mean, probably. Let's see. Let's go up like that a little bit. So, can you see both ends now? Here, what if I hold it this way? So, that's the small end. And that's the large end. And this is blue. So if you have this set, which is kind of common. Oops, not that one. You should have these 4 or 5, sizes. Okay. I could not tell you the millimeters. They are in millimeters, but I could not tell you what they are. So on this end, they're all the same size. Okay. On this end, they go from tiny, tiny to bigger, which is the green. So yeah, so try it, Judy, because actually somebody that popped in one night suggested that. And I was like, oh, that's a great tip. All right, I'm going to move in closer so that, thank you for the oldie. That's fantastic. I love it. Some of that I've not seen, so that's cool. Is it possible to see the tool you used for the... So the acrylic rods are these. Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Gen XDD. Okay, so let me move back up. So if you're new here, the acrylic rods that I use come in a set like this. There's several different sizes. Okay. This size I would only use for a very large mandala, which is like large. And as a beginner, you most likely wouldn't be doing that. But these I do use frequently when we're live. Now, if you want a list of... sent 100 comments. Thank you. Oh, Christine. Christine. Yes. Thank you for the heart me. If you want a list of like beginner supplies and you message me using that orange box with the white arrow in the bottom left-hand corner, I can send you a beginner's list and all of this is in there. Yeah. So Tanya, the best way to do that is just message me there. It's probably going to ask you for your email address. I do not need your email address. You can just shoot me a message there. And then if you shoot me a message, Tamfen, it's on my beginner list. Yep. This is... I don't really know if I can show... Yeah, I can't show you the page. It'll get all mushed. It'll get mushed together. But it is just 110 black paper, but I do like mine bound because I'm type A. And I put everything in here, and I'm just a little afraid to show you, but I put all of my custom palettes that we do in here. It's a very useful tool to have, and I use it a lot to show people how to practice as well. So, yes, I love this paper. Okay, I'm going to move back in. Okay, so let's finish up this one, and then I want to do the diamond shaped that like we use for the mirrors. Okay, so we did this with this. Let's do this one. And then I'm just gonna, I think the large end of the blue should be good for here. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take our paint, do a triangle. I don't know. I was calling it cardstock, and somebody said cardstock isn't heavy enough. So as long as it's 110 pound paper, it would work. I know Cece was using watercolor paper that was 90 pound, and it was kind of curling up on her. So I just know that the 110 holds the paint well and allows you to practice without a lot of grief. And you know what? Some people are able to get all that paint off. I have a tendency to hold my paint, my tool on its side. That's really not the best habit. The best habit is to go up and down. Just like this. I don't know if it's because my wrist I broke as a kid. I don't know. I don't know. But I tend to use it on the side, so I do actually probably have more paint on it because of the way I paint. And that's why I tell you guys, your dot and my dot are going to be totally different. And that's why this is fantastic. Because we're different people. The way we paint, everything is going to be different. If your stuff looks exactly like mine, that makes no sense, right? It should be you. And what I'm doing with this pattern and all of this is so that you have something to Aurora Sky. It is, yes, just basic acrylic craft paint, and it is matte. This is what we're using. Not these colors in this particular pattern, but up here is what we were using. So I do a lot of custom palette mixing when we're live too. I'm actually going through some of the custom palettes we've made. All right, let me get a paintbrush, and I gotta pick the right one. All right, hold on a minute. So I will show you how to do a brush stroke. Okay, when you do a brush stroke, you're welcome, absolutely. When you do a brush, and I got to be careful because that's wet there. One of the things we do is you can take it before you even paint with it, wet it, and go around just to see if that's the size you want. This is a little small. It may or may not give us the look we're looking for. But I'm going to do let's do something different. Let's use the metallic. Okay? So I'm going to do a metallic dot right here. Okay? And then I'm going to get my paintbrush full of paint. Okay, I mean, it's pretty full. All right, I got to turn the book. So I'm going to make sure I'm on. So when you do this, you're going to push the tip down And as you come around, you're going to curve around. You may not be able to see me painting, and I'm sorry for that, but that's the position of the, okay? I'm just going to say that metallic is a little dried out. I mean, not dried out, but it's not thin, normal. Okay? And again, the position for this is not perfect for seeing me do this, but we're going to, so, and then I have to rotate the paper again. So if I'm doing this on like a round, I'm constantly moving the round around. The round around. So the same thing. I'm going to take the brush, push down, and come up and come around. Well, that went much better. I think this, like I said, this first paint was a little thick. But so it's hard to fix that once you do it. You can try to fix it. No promises, though. There we go. It's a little better. I think it was just super concentrated or thick right there. All right, I'm going to pop this brush in my water. Be right back. Again, that's an advanced, or, you know, you're beyond a beginner if you're going to go into brush strokes. You can try and do that long of a swoosh with a tool, but it'll be hard. Okay, let's switch to a different color because we've got so many color palettes. What did I do with the ones I had? I had a whole bunch here. Where did they go? Oh, here they are. Jeez. Let's use this purple one. Okay, so now we're just going to do what I was going to show you on this one. Okay, thank you for the follow. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the primary color. Okay, let's get rid of these two so we don't have too much stuff. And we'll do the same 3 size dots. Now, are you guys understanding why I'm doing the different size dots? Because the main reason I'm doing it is so that you can see how you can get a different look. Oh, I guess that actually isn't finished. Let's finish that. I just noticed that I never finished it. So to finish this, you would do walking dots. So let's do the tiger lily. So I'm using the large end of the green. Okay. And the same thing, you're going to do dot, dot, dot. And then reload, and then you're gonna go all the way around. Like that. Bigger project for dimension. Yeah, so that, like, because if you end up doing, like, you know, again, you guys will outgrow being a beginner. I mean, that's, you know, that's a given. So when you are practicing, if you are not being successful with the smaller dots, oops, do the bigger ones. Do the bigger ones. Practice on a bigger scale. Oh, he is so sick. Listen, guys. I had COVID twice, and this man never got it. And he is sick, and his whole family is going to be here. This will be the first time I've ever seen him sick since I've known him. Sad. But yeah, if you are unsteady with your hands, if you are getting frustrated doing tiny dots, go bigger. Go bigger. Go bigger, go home. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take oh my God, he's so sick. All right, same thing. I'm going to take a good amount of paint. Are we in frame? Yes. Same thing. I'm going to put the dot somewhere about there. I guess the bigger thing is I don't want to get that. I always get sick. Okay, a little bigger. And then the biggest. Like I said, the biggest I'm doing, if you have the acrylic rods, is the pink. And putting this about the same. Okay. Wow, we're at 10K likes. Thank you guys. I appreciate you all. If you're new here and have any questions, please ask. Do not hesitate to ask. Okay. So in this particular one, we're simply doing swooshes. Okay. I'm going to go with I'm going to do this. Yeah, I think I'm going to do the larger end of the white. Okay, and I'm going to do my dot. Okay. And then again, I push the paint, but if you're better off pulling, you pull. Whatever works for you. This is another common design towards the center because you can make it smaller or bigger. Oop, got a little wonky there. I feel like there's my paint. Yeah. So my pattern underneath kind of made my paper a little wonky, but whatever. Can't erase this. All right, so that was the white. We'll go up in size to the blue, the large end of the blue. Again, if I'm going too fast, stop me. My goal is, though, that I will upload these into sections here on the TikTok. I'll probably edit out quite a bit of the nonsense talking and stuff, speed it up a little bit. Then you can, try and pause it. I know someone was going to help me, Catherine was going to help me learn how to upload this to another platform. Thank you for the follow. All good things, but we got to get through this week. Okay, so with this next row, it's a diamond shape again. So up a little bit, and then the 3 dots. Yep, I will. What is your are you working? Are you retired? Are you pretty much like a free soul right now? But yeah, after the 4th, I will definitely get with you to get things available for people. I just never even considered doing it that way until Cece asked, or whoever it was that asked. I think that's a great idea. That is fantastic. What did you do in your past life when you had to work? Do I know that? I don't remember if I know what you did in your working life. Not that it matters. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but I'm just curious. You were a college. What did you teach, PK? Oh, bless you for that. That's, as a nurse, that's huge. I appreciate what you do. Or did. I don't know that you ever really retire from that, but yeah, that's awesome. So since we're on we're going to be creative and do whatever we want, we're going to do something that I don't normally do, but I'm going to show you how you could have communications, public speaking. Oh, I say a lot. I would not do well as a public speaker. So when I edit my videos, I ask it to remove all the extra unnecessary words. I swear I have no less than 20 ums. It's terrible. But so I appreciate that. But it's embarrassing when you're like, oh my gosh, I say a lot. So instead of putting these on top of each other like this, you could have done the first swoosh, a row of walking dots, and another swoosh. I don't know that I would go further than that, but you could still do, oh, I got the large end of the green, walking dots. If you need to fill up space, again, depending on what you need to do, okay, do that. I just love this purple palette too. Wow. So you could do that. Yeah, I know. I feel like when I did teach like nurse assistants, and I don't think I did that, but I love that color palette. It's very pretty. So again, normally I would just do the 2 swooshes, depending on the size of what we're doing. So look, let's see if we can get this in here. Hang on a minute. Pause. I'm going to raise you guys up a little bit. So this is, let me measure this real quick because I keep bringing it out. So this is 12. $18-inch. This is an 18-inch round. Okay. But see, in the middle, I only did 1 swoosh. Sorry, there is a little bit of a glare. And then on the next row, we did a 1 row of walking dots and a swoosh. Question, when you are making a color palette, thank you guys. I appreciate that. When you are doing a custom palette, I start with the primary color and less of the primary color until the 5th pot where there's just very little color in it. This is one of like my first large rounds, so I ended up doing a lot of filler stuff. But so this is that super big center dot, right? That's this green, like it's a big center dot. And then, but that's why, like with the pattern book, even though I'm showing you how to make a bigger pattern, you don't have to do that. You just have to start to get that concept of, I can do whatever I want. Yeah, that color combination with that, like that brown in there and that gold, it's one of my faves. All right, so let's do this one now. Probably gonna have to go to the blue, and let's do a metallic for around it. Are we back in? Let's push down. Let's get back a little closer. There we go. So same thing, you're gonna do your dot. And again, I'm changing colors so that you can see just changing colors changes what you're doing, what it looks like. And that needs to be a little bigger. There we go. Now, if you are having a hard time getting enough paint on your tool and you're using a palette, okay? This is a palette. If you're using a palette and you're touching the bottom of it all the time, you're not going to get enough paint. So if you're using the paint pots, that helps because they're deeper, but you need to have enough paint in them to make sure you're not hitting the bottom. Okay, so we'll move up in size and do the green. Actually, I'm gonna do the blue, the large end of the blue again. You don't always have to go up in size, but this white is a little thinner, so the dots might be a little bigger. So we're gonna do our triangle. Tap, tap, tap. Wow, there is 100 of you in here. If you are new here, say hi in the chat. Ask questions. Let me know what you want to know. Again, a decent amount of paint so you can push all the way around. Hi, Deborah. How are you? We're just working on a pattern book page at the request of the community so that they can practice things on their own. Good, good. I am glad to see you here. And then now for this outer row, again, I don't normally do walking dots around it. You don't have to. I might let's just leave that one because that's our normal pattern, is the 2 swooshes. It doesn't have to stop at 2. You can do walking dots, you can do another paintbrush stroke, whatever you want. So let's pause there and let's do our row of dots around the larger one. And I may actually show you something on this one. This might be a little big. So these are bigger dots. Okay? This is the large end of the yellow. Kind of to prove a point that you don't have to do everything. I mean, if you're doing a row, I would do obviously the row the same way. So you can do a row of walking dots. Okay? And then you can do your swoosh. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow, Lime. I love that, Lime Jello. Thank you, Manisha. I appreciate you. Okay, so that was the large end of the yellow. I'm going to find my white, and we'll do our first swoosh. And let's just go up in color. Okay, same thing. We're going to put just the, whoa, that was a lot. We're going to put a dot, okay, and then do our swoosh. Now, when you're practicing in one pattern, you do run the risk of things being wet, so your paint running together. When you're actually painting on a round, that isn't usually a risk, because as you're going around, when you're going around the round, paint is drying as you're going. Acrylic paint does dry pretty fast. And remember, if pushing gives you an awkward feeling and it's not working, do a pull it. Pull the paint. And you can always flip your tool over to finish it. Okay. Yes, I know the paint's a little thin there, but that's okay. It's a practice page. There we go. All right. Blue. So then, honestly, this probably would have looked better if I would have done a bigger tool. So I think I needed to go bigger. There we go. It's a little better. It's a little skinny. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to go to the next, which is the 3 dots. Coming up a little bit. Okay. Can make that a little bigger. Now you need a decent amount of paint. Okay? Because this is a long way. Okay? And you're just going to push it around. Okay? If you are practicing on the paper, okay, I want to remind you guys that it is porous, and that no matter what you do, you're going to end up running out of, like, it's not going to push anymore, okay? It's not going to be perfect. The dots usually are pretty good, but when you're doing the swooshes, it absorbs, that paper absorbs your paint at different ratios, so to speak. All right, let's find another color palette. what do we got here? I get lime green. We'll do lime green next. Are your swooshes touching? In this particular case, yes, only because everything's wet. I would normally, as you're going around your piece, things would be drying and they wouldn't spread. I wouldn't strive for them to touch. I mean, that's probably, this is like, these are touching. But again, the one was wet. This would be more of my preferred look. Again, over here, I would probably start to use brush strokes. It's really hard to get a super large swoosh to look right. Again, like here I use the paintbrush. I feel like it's way easier. And you know, you don't have to make your swoosh like that either. I mean, you can bring your swoosh more of a elongated, I guess would be the word. Like, it doesn't have to go like that. Oh, you're not on screen. Hang on a minute. Oh, hang on. Let me move the tools. So you can elongate it. You don't have to come directly around. That just tends to be the way I do it because I use that pattern in certain places. No worries. All right. So let's do the diamond shape. Okay. I think in this case, let's see, are we on? I'm trying to figure out the best way to show you guys the diamond shape. I think I'm just going to trace it. You do not have to. Okay. I just so happen to have the diamond mirrors. Okay, so I'm gonna, and this is only one size. We don't have different sizes of this diamond. Okay. But how about we do different colors so that you guys get an idea of that. Because I feel like when you do these, oops, sliding away. When you do these, the colors that you use make such a difference. Okay. So I should have gone down a little further, so we're going to end up probably all the way up here. That's okay. So are you guys happy with these designs? That these are ones you have seen before. Maybe we'll have time and I can just show you the swoosh pattern too. We'll do, yeah. So this is the large end of the white. Okay, good. Are you, am I going too fast? Are you keeping up? Again, I mean, oh, no worries. I appreciate you guys too. I know it's probably a little fast, but so this is the large end of the white. Perfect. Okay, good. So I am taking and just walking the edge. I say that. Of that diamond. Okay? Now, you do not need, and I'm going to show you, it's not perfect, and I was never very good at it, but you do not need to trace that with a shape. You can freehand it. You can actually paint it. And I'm just going to use the brush that I have here. So, and hopefully you can see. You're basically going to paint your rendition of a diamond. Okay? You don't need the mirrors. Does it help? Is it fun? Sure. You don't need them. Is it, for me, it helped because then I knew my diamonds were all the same size. And I just gave, again, I'm type A. So you don't need the mirrors, but maybe you need something that is similar in shape that you can trace. So in a nutshell, you can do that. Oh, they do. Oh, that's perfect. Do you know how many you get? I know when I got mine, like, I haven't been to that store in a while. I know I got this there. It's like a little paper mache box. So they have some really cool stuff. And it's heart-shaped. It's a nice box. It's actually very nice. Quite a few. Okay, cool. All right, let me pop this in water so that... Okay. So anyways, you don't have to have the diamonds. I'm just saying you don't have to. It helps. All right, back to where we were at. You can. Yeah. You would, the heart shape, yeah, you would put your center dot. Oh, don't have a lot of room. Put your center dot and start your rows, you're around the center, your dots around the center. You can do what we do with the rocks here. Just keep going and doing, bigger dots and keep it simple. You could throw in a couple patterns like this. Sure. I mean, it helps. I've seen people do like crescent moons, and it's really cool because like they put the center dot on the center part of the moon, and they actually do their mandala on the moon as if it was a circle. It's so cool. They are in a pack of 3 different oh, teardrops too? I didn't know they had teardrop. That's awesome. So just walking dots around that diamond shape. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, like I said, I haven't been there in some time. So, all right. So I just outlined that in the white. Again, I got to be careful because things are wet. Let me stir these paints real quick. Sorry for that delay. They haven't been used in a little while, so stir them up a little bit. Gosh, I don't remember what color the screen is, but it's gorgeous. I'll have to look on my color palettes. You were doing a wonderful job teaching. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I mean, that's my goal is, I mean, I wish that I could do more in the way of being a teacher like I was taught. But my goal is obviously to finish my nurse practitioner. I mean, I don't think I'll stop going live. I don't want you guys to think that. Well, one, I've got a long way to go still before I graduate, and then I've got to take my test. So you need to all stick around and hear me out as I navigate this last year. All right, I think that's good. Because I might need you. All right. So I'm just I'm gonna try sticking with the large end of the white. Okay, thank you. Perfect. Thank you, Gigi. I appreciate that. Okay, good. I that's good to hear. I mean, we're interactive to a point. Like I'm talking and you're there on a keyboard. So it's hard, like it's not like a real engagement situation. So it's hard to know truly if it's beneficial to others. I actually do this the same way. I do that triangle shape because if I don't, I never have enough paint. One of doing these is I would have to say this is my favorite. I love doing the diamonds with the walking dots, and then I like doing the brush strokes around it. But these take practice because you have to figure out how much paint you need on your tool to get all the way around. There's no way around it. This one takes way more practice than I feel that one. So then let's just go a little lighter, and then I will go up in size to the large end of the blue. And again, just changing colors so that you guys can see. Now I'm going to go to this line. I should have actually gone a little bit further down, but again, practice page, so it's fine. Dot. And in this case, I'm actually going back in the paint to get a decent amount of a dot, like a decent amount of paint. Because now remember, we've got to get all the way around. Hang on, my laptop went to sleep. There we go. Thank you for the follow, Pam. If you are new here, say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you have any questions at all, hang on, I'm doing the same thing. I'm turning my wrist to the side. You want to try and stay upright. Don't do what I do. I think it's because I'm painting, awkward. Hi, Kiki. How are you? Hi, Cheryl from Indiana. Ooh, how was your weather today? We all had a scorcher, I think. Pittsburgh, Australia. Hi, Mandy. That is the one country I would love to go and literally not do any of the tourist places. I mean, would I like to go to Sydney and all of that? But I fish. I would love to just go there and fish all of the regions. It has been on my bucket list since I was 20. Yep. So that's why I do my triangle, because when you're doing a big one and you're going to go out, yes, yes. We fly fish, so that is on my bucket list. One day I'm going to get there and I'm going to do that. Yeah. And I feel like I'm doing it a lot more because I'm underneath my phone painting. So it's just try not to do that. Try not to. All right. I want to show you that same thing, but with a different color so that you guys see like how that changes. Yeah, it was hot. Yeah, it was hot. Like I got home and my chickens were literally panting. It's crazy. So this is a brown tan palette. I don't even remember when we mixed it. So this is the large end. Actually, that might be too big. Large end of the white might be too big, but let's see. Oh, it's a little dried out or something. There we go. Yeah, I feel like this paint might need to be mixed. Okay. Well, we got around. Close. Close enough. So tonight, if you're new here, we're actually, the community voted and asked if we would do a practice page, a practice pattern page. So that's kind of what you're tuning in on tonight. This is a very beginner class or live. It's not a class. I'm not really a teacher or anything like that. I'm just introducing people to beginner.art in the hopes that maybe they'll end up doing, larger mandala style pieces. All right, so that was that. So we'll go to the large end of the blue, but you can already see the difference. Like a vibrant color, and now you're in neutrals. Well, that's funny. I suppose. New Zealand. Well, fantastic. We have Australia and New Zealand in the house. How are you? So I'm doing that diamond shape. Okay. Normally I might have come up a little higher, but because I'm close to that line. I'm trying to stay below it. Those of you that are new here, do you paint mandala now, or do you do another craft? Just curious. We have a bunch of different crafters and hobbyists in here. Can you do the first row big? You could. I don't know, because the goal is for it to end up looking like a petal. If I was going to switch it up at all, what I would probably do is a row and then like a brush stroke. Thank you for the follow, Kiki. Cool. What time is it over down under? You're not really down under. You're New Zealand. Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I learn from people that pop in here all the time. I get ideas like, you know, how to do something a little different than I do it. I feel like we could always learn. Yeah, I wonder what time is it over on the 12 p.m. July 2nd, 2 p.m. And it's USA, it's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Very good, PK. So, yeah, so I most likely will be back live. I'll be here tomorrow night because somebody can only get on Thursday nights, and we promised her purple palette. So we're going to do that. And then I won't be back live until my normal nights are Sunday through Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 10-ish. Have a great night, Kara. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for the follow, Sarah. So, but yeah, no, my normal time is 8 p.m. Eastern till 10-ish. If you, she's not on this platform, so I'm afraid to say her name. If Shauna, if you want to drop me a message, either Messenger or whatever, or you can use the orange box here. Good night, Jen. I appreciate you. Again, look for them. I'm going to upload them the best I can. It'll be in a couple of different things. But Shauna Lynn, if you message me here in that orange box, I can send you her name. And you'll, like I said, you'll be mesmerized. Yeah. You'll be mesmerized. You'll never come back here. That's what I tell everybody. If I tell you her name, you're never going to come back. All right. And I'm just using the large end of the green now. And again, I'm coming up pretty high, almost outside of that box. Now, in these dots, you need a good amount of paint because you got to go a long way. Okay? So don't be stingy. It's a long way. And I got to remember to hold my tool the right way. See, it's a long way. But see how different it looks? And this is actually bigger. This is a green. The dots are bigger on this one than this one. I used a different size tool. But what a difference, right? Just in the colors. Yeah, you won't want to, I'm telling you, she's good. She'll have you believing you can do anything. She's so good. She's such a good teacher. Could you start large from each end? And yeah, you could. This one I kind of went out. This did not go out. This did not go well. That kind of curved out. But yeah, you can. But let me show you what I mean about. Oh, I already put my brush over there. Let me see what I have here to show you this diamond shape. So when you do the diamond, okay, like this is a painted diamond. I may have traced it, but then I painted it. Then I did a row of walking dots. And then these are brush strokes. Okay, and then I guess you guys can see here. Okay, we did that flower pattern, and then these are brush strokes around it. And then this pattern here, okay, is this pattern, but a little, this one, sorry, this size, with an extra row around it. So you see what I mean by, like, you can do whatever you want. And I know I say that, but I mean this was this, let me find the one that, I don't think I have it out here. This one here. Okay. This one here. This round. And I'm going to turn you guys this way a little bit more, just so that I can hold it up and out here. Okay, so this round, I did everything on here in my own head. And what I mean by that is I didn't have somebody telling me what to do. I just started doing things. So like I did this pattern. My center dot is wonky, whatever. I did this pattern on a really small scale. I didn't technically do that one, but it's the dot, walking dots, and then a brush stroke. But then I had this blank space. So then I'm like, all right, what do I do there? Swooshes, okay? Now, I will say that she did teach us how to do that little side swoosh. And then learned how to do this from her as well. But this whole mandala I put together. Like I did this with my own ideas. So I'm pretty proud of this one. It's not perfect, but I'm pretty proud of it because you should not ever see another one that looks just like this. Because I dot different than my teacher, than you. And then, obviously, I like my diamond elements. And then these are really big brush strokes right here. But I'm pretty proud of that one. I love the colors of it too. Okay. So what do we do? What are we doing now? Let's this is basically the same thing. Thank you, guys. Let's do a thing of swooshes. What you want to call it? Here, we'll use this palette. Yeah, I got to put you up here though, because we're down here. Let's use this. So when we're doing that swoosh pattern, where it's really just swooshes. Let me open this. And I'm going to start, and I think I'm just going to use the large end of the white. Okay. So the first swoosh is going to be a dot. And you're going to push the paint. I should have actually picked a different page because the paint design on the back is really, it's kind of good to know because I feel like it's almost warping it. So when I push, sometimes it gets hung up. I'm going to show you what it looks like with the different size. So that was the large end of the white. I'm going to use the large end of the blue. Same color. Okay. And then we'll go to the green. Just so you get an idea of how dramatic your swooshes can be, how big you could make them. Oh, that got hung up on the design on the back. Thank you. I'm working on one now with my ideas too. You know what? It does because, you know, you learn from other people, right? So you learn from other people. And then, you know, you have all this in your head, but you're also your own person. I think the way the colors we use, you know, your dot is going to be different than my dot. Like, there's so many factors that make it yours anyways. I think that's why I like this so much, is that it evolves into who you are. You cannot replicate another artist, in my opinion. It's too, there's just no way. All right, so then in this pattern, you're going to do another dot, and you don't want them to blend together, but it may in this case because things are wet. So you're going to do that. Might be too much. Same thing, you're going to put your dot and kind of come along the side. I like that look where it overlaps. You may not. You may not. And then we'll just do another contrasting color. Now, most of the time, you're going to see people go smaller with this row, meaning come down a little bit. Sometimes I come out and up, so you can do whatever you want with these as well. This is a little bit of an awkward painting position for me because of where my phone is. and it's wet. So this would come in more. There we go. A little better. Yeah, like my cord is in my face. I could probably unplug it now. My phone should be fine. All right, so then that's the large end of the white. So then the next size up is the large end of the blue. So we'll go a little different pattern. So you can, same thing, come in. Okay. So again, those of you that are concerned about your steady hands and, worried about the dots and everything, go with the bigger tool. Just use a bigger tool and just do a bigger design. There is no wrong, right, nothing. This is for fun. So when I was saying sometimes I come, like, people will do them like a fleur-de-lis, I guess, more or less. Sometimes I come up here. And do something like that. Okay. So a little bit more of an exaggerated outer row. And I am in a weird position. Hang on a minute. Let me turn this a sec. That's better. There we go. Okay. You can do that. So that's the large end of the white, large end of the blue, and then we'll do the large end of the green. Start with this one. Does anybody have any questions? We're probably going to be, this will probably be the last one because it's 10:15 and I do have to go to clinical one more day. And then we'll be live tomorrow. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And our palette tomorrow is purple. I guess we'll do a round. I don't know that she said what she really wanted to paint on. But we'll do a purple palette. And we'll paint on a round. I have a round ready. Oops. So, a side note, I'm very much like frugal, and I would highly recommend not skipping a page in your paper because it's not, it costs money, but I am really having a hard time doing swooshes with that pattern on the back of this page. So maybe skip a page from a pattern page and not try to paint on the back of it. And then we'll just do the same thing. Now you can also do something like this where you start out there and then kind of make it fancy, where it kind of comes out a little bit more fleur-de-lis. So these are also something else you can kind of play around with. Oh. Yeah, they are really getting stuck as I'm pushing that paint around. And so, again, let me reinforce this. When you're doing swooshes, the likelihood of you doing what you normally would do, you're going to do your swoosh, your swoosh, your swoosh. You're not going to go swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. You're going to do all your swooshes this direction. And by the time you get back around, then you're going to be putting in your sides. So they're not going to blend like this. The only reason they're blending like this is because I'm doing them simultaneously and they're wet. Okay, I would just remember that. Because like I said, if that makes sense, right? Normally I would do this. I'm going to do a swoosh, right? I'm going to do my swoosh. Then my next one's over here. And then my next one's over here as I go around the round, okay? And then my next one's over here. And as you go all the way around, by the time you are around, this one starts to dry. And then you just carefully go up it. You don't have to touch. They shouldn't really touch and overlap. Yeah, it's that particular design showing that live the way I just did probably doesn't make as much sense as it should. So there's quite a few of you here. Does anybody have any questions? I can kind of go over what we tend to do in here. We do a lot of different things. But today was, you tuned in on an interesting day. We talked about doing a pattern page. So I started them on a pattern page. But we are beginner.art live. So I came up with the idea of, I call these love stones. They're very loosely heart-shaped. Just humor me. When I paint them, I paint the base coat in the shape of a heart. They're actually just from the creeks here where I fish. I do a lot of fishing. And if they look like hearts, then they come home. I do paint them. They do go back into... preferably, you should let the first row dry enough. You really don't want them to kind of muddy together. All right, Sandra, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Hi, Lolo. Yeah, when you really don't want them to look like they just kind of mush together. Okay. But in the sake of the live and showing you guys that's kind of what happened. But so anyways, so these are simply different size dots of paint. So that's why I call it beginner.art, because this is how the live started. With these, here's another example. But I also show them in this live how to make a custom color palette. Either using one color and white, or a color and maybe a gray to get more of a muted color. So I try to show them, or you guys, how to, if you want to do this, how to do it on the cheap. I mean, instead of X in the username. That's okay. That's okay. Well, mine has an X in it because I'm Gen X. And then we also started doing these 4-inch rounds, which is perfect for a 2-hour live. But the host of your live decided to not pay attention to the drop-down screen and ordered 6-inch rounds. So what that, not pay attention to the drop-down screen and ordered 6-inch rounds. So what that means. I guess my phone was never plugged in that whole time. What happened? Did it kick me off? I guess not. Am I still here with you guys? Okay. Thank you, Cindy. Okay. All right. Yeah, something happened with my... Okay. My phone decided that it was going to... I guess it was never plugged in all the way. Okay. So, will you repeat the lesson on making color? So, yes. So, tomorrow, PK Girl, I will be making a custom palette at a request. We're doing a purple palette, so we're going to use this purple. This is Purple Iris, and we'll do that. But I ordered 6-inch rounds, so our lives tend to be, if we don't normally always finish a 6-inch round in a live, but we get pretty close these days, if this is all we work on. Anyways, so I don't have 4-inch rounds, but I have a whole lot of 6-inch rounds. So we progressed a little quicker from beginner to fancier beginner. Yeah, I think it was my phone said my battery was dying. The color mixing will be, yes, in the beginning it will be. If you are going to miss the beginning, I can maybe pull out that section and post that section to this platform, and then you guys will be able to see that. But what I normally do is, to give you an idea, is like this pot is all green. Then I put a little bit less. So in other words, this is almost all the way up to the same level as this, but then they start to get less and less. And then this one has barely a green in it. And then in this one I added white. So like I put enough white in here to make this level, more white, level, more white, level, and the most white, and it was all level. Sometimes I have to tweak things, but for the most part that works out pretty evenly. Thank you for the follow, Mary. No worries. Yeah, that I usually start the live with that because that's kind of how we start going, and then I'm gonna do a round, and I'll go over how to mark the round. So awesome. Well, I hope that was good for you guys. Most patterns build off of that, especially when you get into like brush strokes. And like I said, in this one you could easily add walking dots around it. You can do a brush, like there's so many different things. I just frowned you. I will be live. My normal lives are Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until whenever we finish. Usually about 10:30 I'm done. But now that I'm almost done with clinical, we might be able to do more. Yes, you're welcome. I appreciate you for being here. So yeah, so Mary will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. and then we'll be offline for a couple of days. Plus, it's the holiday, so we got a bunch of family coming up. But yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to, if you followed me, you can message me, ask me anything. If you're still here, you could always message me through the orange box with the white arrow. I think it's in the bottom left-hand corner. If you need a supply list, whatever questions you have, I'm available. I try to make myself as available as I can without getting in trouble. All right, good night. All right, if anybody has any last minute questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to say good night. Good night. Good night. I appreciate y'all for being here and hanging out. All right, Cece, I appreciate you guys. Stay cool, and I will see you all tomorrow. Good night, Mandy. I appreciate you. Have a great night, Judy. Sleep well.